Live from the Pines, your East Texas sports podcast. I'm joined by Jalen Mark, Trey Hensley, and Chris Stubblefield. I'm David Griffin. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise.
Couldn't agree more.
Texas.
And push a little insurance.
Pushing insurance. Trey, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay. Cole, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's Wednesday, almost close to Friday, so
Doing good.
I'm making it.
Yeah, well, we got some topics today we're going to talk about, and we're going to start off with there's been a lot of Twitter debate. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but a lot of people have been discussing the top 10, top 5 quarterbacks of the 2000s, and one side had Baker Mayfield being the number one quarterback of the 2000s. But when I say 2000s, I mean from 2000 to 2023. And I don't know how
Real quick, 1 second. I want to cut you off. We'd like to give a big shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts. Use code PINES936 to get your discount, 25% off discount. Back to what you were saying, David.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss the top 5 quarterbacks from 2000 to present day. Like I just previously said before, I was so rudely cut off. Some people have Baker Mayfield number one, and I don't understand how you can have Baker Mayfield number one. Yes, he did win a Heisman Trophy, but he never won a playoff game, never won a national championship. And I'll speak my opinion later when I go. But Jalen, we're going to start with you. Your top 5 quarterbacks from 2000 to present day. Who do you got?
Let's see. Get them wrote down. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up. I'm going to say
5-1. Go 5-1.
5-1.
5-1.
I wasn't expecting it. I'll go Kyler Murray. Go Tebow. Got to
go on. Please go on. Please go on.
Got to put in Reggie McNeil. I'm going to say
that's a pander.
I'm going to say Colt McCoy and Vince Young.
That's 6, isn't it? He's 6.
That's 5. Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Reggie McNeil, Tebow, Kyler Murray.
So if I'm getting this right, you're putting Reggie McNeil over Tim Tebow and Kyler Murray.
Yes. 1, you like Tim Tebow.
And
2, Kyler Murray,
Deshaun Watson, Bryce Young,
Trevor Lawrence.
Bryce Young.
You got to leave somebody on the table for you. You got to leave people out there on the table for you guys. We can't just all stay the same people. Reggie McNeil won a state championship at Lufkin.
The beauty's in the order.
Goes to Texas A&M. He goes to Texas A&M University. Had a pretty solid career. Went to the league, played a little QB, got moved to receiver. At the end of the day, the guy's from Lufkin. I'm going to go with Reggie McNeil.
I'm surprised it wasn't, Riley Dodge, Cliff.
Riley Dodge played at the University of North. He played at North Texas. Did not have a great career.
Like this South.
Greg McElroy. Chase Daniels.
Mizzou legend.
He was pretty good in Missouri.
He was a really good quarterback at Missouri.
I just want to say.
I think he was like number 75 on ESPN's list.
I just want to say something real quick. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever At no point during your rambling, incoherent response were you anything close to what could be considered a rational thought.
You want me to say something?
In this group,
I want to be honest with you.
I'm talking.
I was not ready for that.
Oh, God.
Everyone in this podcast and listening to it is now dumber for having heard it. Award you no points.
David, who do you say, David?
Your soul.
Who's your top 5?
My top 5.
5-1.
Number 5, I'm going Matt Leinart. Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, national championship winning quarterback, part of the Pete Carroll dynasty. 2004 USC is a top 10 college football team of all time. Number 4, I'm going Cam Newton. The guy put the team on his back and won the national championship and a Heisman Trophy with a bunch of – I think I saw a stat the other day. It's like nobody else on that offense took an NFL snap besides Cam Newton.
Are you serious?
Number 3, Joe Burrow. The season he had in 2019 with LSU was impeccable. Dude absolutely torched everybody he played. Was a consensus national championship.
It's kind of easy when you have like 45 first-round draft picks on that team or
Yeah,
whatever it
I mean,
was.
still, Joe Burrow is the truth.
Yeah.
Number two, I got Vince Young. A little bit of a homer, but Vince Young took down the USC dynasty in the greatest national championship ever played. Didn't win a Heisman.
If they make a tackle on fourth down, those quarterbacks are flipped between Leinart and Vince Young.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. And number 1, I have Tim Tebow, a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, 2-time national champion, put the team on his back plenty of times. It's hard to say that Tim Tebow is not the best, or I don't want to say Tim Tebow was the most talented of the 5, but he has definitely the best accolades and the best. He has the rings and the Heisman Trophy to back it up. So,
Are you saying that because of the Christian? He's a Christian man.
I'd like to finish talking. Number 5, got Matt Leinart. Number 4, I got Cam Newton. Number 3, I got Joe Burrow. Number 2, I got Vince Young. And number 1, I got Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow?
It's pretty good
Number
list.
1?
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's a good argument.
It's unequivocal. I mean, it's –
Right, go ahead.
We'll get there. So, for me, I have some names that have already been out there. But number 5, I've got Deshaun Watson. I just think the body of work, 2, 3 total years? I can't remember if there's a third. 2 and 2 playoff appearances.
Played for 2
at
national
least.
titles, 1-1.
Exact 1-1. And so it's you got to give credit where credit's due. Kind of like the next guy, Jameis Winston. He made Jimbo a relevant coach in college football and got him paid $100 million.
So you got Jameis at 4.
Jameis at 4.
Jameis at 4.
He didn't play in 2 natties. He was part of the first college football playoff. He won one. I think that was still the BCS era in 13. I think that's right. Yeah.
Right.
And then would they lose to Oregon or they beat Oregon? No, he played in 2 national championships.
They beat Auburn in the last BCS championship and lost to Oregon the first year in the playoff.
Yeah. And then it's 3. I have Cam Newton. The body of work would have been real cool if he would have stayed at Florida. He was a backup for Tebow in 2008. It would have been way cooler. Florida would have. Anyways,
what did he do? Steal computers?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But then he won a national championship at Blinn. So he won a junior college national championship.
Yeah.
So he technically won 2. 2, I've got Baker because it's 3 years. He didn't win a playoff game, but I was always a fan of him. People hated him, but the second he plays for your team, you kind of love him. And that's just what everybody hated him from the outside looking in. I'm sure you despised him for a few years there. But it's kind of hard to argue with just the numbers that he put up there. Burrow doesn't sniff my list because he did play with like 60 first-round picks. And then number 1, undoubtedly, there's no one close. He was a significant part of 2 national championship teams in 2006 and 2008. He won a Heisman in between those years, finished 3 years in a row in top 5 in Heisman voting, and it's Tim Tebow. It's not even close. Okay. I mean, it's not even close. You can't make an argument for literally anybody else.
Okay.
I mean, you can't. You just can't.
Oh, I mean, Cole is gonna say Johnny for sure.
You can't. There's no one close. There's no one done it like he did it.
Cole's gonna say Johnny.
Did he have an electric teammate in Percy Harvin? Yes. Probably one of the best highlight tapes of college next to Tavon Austin. But it's still you just can't argue with it. Did he have 2 of the baddest dudes in Florida in the Pouncey brothers blocking for him? Yes, he did. But you just can't argue with it.
He also had a killer at tight end.
I was about to say, he had one other bad dude. That was
we also had a racist wide receiver, but who's keeping score there? We're talking about Tim Tebow.
And that Netflix series didn't do it justice.
Netflix series didn't even – I mean –
I was kind of disappointed.
Infinite amount of layers. They didn't even unveil one of them. They made out Urban Meyer to be a good guy, and he is not. It's not worth your time. But it kind of is 1,000 foot above view of Florida for 3 years, and in that if we're talking about it, that's kind of what set off my big home point of people not giving coaches long enough time because Urban won it in his second year at Florida, which just sets a bad precedent. But now everybody thinks they can win in 2 years. But anyways, I digress. Team Tebow is by far, in a way, the number one quarterback ever in college football.
Who you
Yeah,
like, Cole?
definitely post 2000, but I would say ever.
Wait, so who is your number 5?
5 is Deshaun.
So you don't have Joe Burrow or Vince Young in the top 5.
No.
Okay. Respect your list. But anyway, that brings us to Cole.
Oh, and I forgot Reggie McNeil. He was a solid,
Honorable mention.
yeah, if we got to pick about 115.
Easy. But my list isn't an accolade list. It's at their prime, the best player, what I would stack them up against, and who I would say is the best player. I mean, Trey has good argument for Tebow, but talent-wise, I don't think he's up at 1. But so at 5,
I didn't say talent-wise he was up at 1.
I know. It's my own list. I know y'all are doing accolades, but on this one, it's just like in the prime.
Can y'all stop cutting this man off and let him speak?
Who you think would be the best player, regardless of the team around them. So at 5, I got Vince Young. I know I'm an Aggie, but you can't deny him. He was pretty damn good. He's from Houston too, so I don't mind him. At 4, I got Tebow. Tebow was one of my favorite players growing up. I admit that. I had a Tebow jersey. But if you took Tebow off of Florida with that team, I don't think he has the same career path as that. But, I mean, he was great.
If I was the backup quarterback for LSU, I'd have won a national championship. Well, I mean, what's your argument there?
No, you wouldn't. Burrow was on another level. He didn't.
That's why I said the backup quarterback. But
yeah,
you started at quarterback for Lufkin.
Anyway, who started at quarterback for Lufkin?
Traded.
Not middle school. So at 4, I got Tebow. 3, I got Burrow. I think his Heisman season was up there with one of the best. I mean, he was lights out. Well, I mean, they went, even though they had 3 first rounders at receiver and damn near draft picks all around. But I mean, he played pretty lights out even in that playoff. I mean, he was just on another level. And then 2, I got Johnny Manziel, who none of y'all mentioned. Should be ashamed of yourself.
I mean,
but if you're not accolades wise, but what he did on the field whenever he was in his prime was a different thing, taking that team to 10 wins.
And off the field was a different thing.
Yeah. Leading the SEC in rushing and passing in one season as a freshman. And yeah, I think he was just dynamic in his own way, and it was just a lightning shell in a bottle. I wish that deal with Sumlin would have came true with $3 million for 2 more years, but I digress. And then number 1, I got Cam Newton. I think he was at his prime, probably the best to put on the field, lace up the cleats. I mean, taking that Auburn team, like David said, I think you said not one other player took the NFL snap. And
I think it was nobody on that offense took an NFL snap or something of the like.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting at Florida, like Trey said, then went to Blinn. Shout out Brenham, Texas, right outside of Houston. Won a national championship and then transferred to Auburn, who I don't think they were even on they might have been preseason top 25, but I mean, I was pretty young, but I remember them just coming out of nowhere.
I think they may have been unranked, Cole.
I think they were.
They might have. I can't remember.
And they just came out of nowhere, and he was unstoppable. I don't know the stats. I could pull it up, but I mean, he's a
different level.
Yeah, I mean, he was Derrick Henry running the ball and fucking I don't know.
Tim Tebow throwing it?
Yeah, well, he was better than Tim Tebow throwing the ball. But yeah. But and they had Gene Chizik as a coach. You never heard about him after that. I think he got fired 2 years after that. Gus
wasn't
he?
Was it
He's
Gus or Gene that has the largest buyout before everybody started getting big buyouts?
It was Gus Malzahn.
It was Gus. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 5 Vince Young, 4 Tebow, 3 Burrow, 2 Johnny Manziel, and 1 Cam Newton.
I still think I had the best list.
I think
Yeah.
we gotta go back around and give some honorable mentions. There's some great quarterbacks that we've witnessed in our lifetime, and they were great quarterbacks, but I feel like we've kind of categorized it. It's like, did you win a Heisman Trophy and did you win a national championship? That puts you in the top 5 automatically.
A good quarterback that none of us are gonna put him in their top 5. I might have could have thrown mine. Mine was not the best, I guess, but Tua.
Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa was pretty sick in college. I mean, although he did have one of the sickest wide receiving cores
ever.
Joe Burrow didn't.
He did. That's why I argued that.
That's a debate for another day. But yeah, anybody else, Jalen?
I like Jalen Hurts. He had a great career.
Are you just going to name out like Alabama quarterbacks? Are we going to go to?
You going to go to
AJ McCarron next? Are we going to go
to Jake Stoker?
You can also say
Greg McElroy.
Greg McElroy,
Chase Daniels. Those boys are some dogs.
Someone that falls
Lamar
in that
Jackson
category.
was pretty great at Louisville.
Mark Sanchez, yeah.
Case Keenum, Mark Sanchez.
You remember? I read the list, and there was a name that jumped out. Who was that northern? Was it Illinois quarterback, like the Wolves NIU?
The one that
played talking about?
State in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, yes. I know you're talking about.
Lynch.
Yes, yeah. Jordan Lynch.
Is it Drew Lynch?
I think it was Jordan Lynch.
It was Lynch, something like that.
That dude was. Oh, that was fun to watch. He was fun to watch.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson was great.
I'm sorry, Drew Lynch is a comedian.
RG3 was pretty damn good too.
God,
What wasn't that like the bowl game? Didn't he play in like the Arizona Bowl and they put up like 70 points against their bowl opponent his senior year? Wasn't that it?
I know they lost to Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
I can't remember.
Maybe it was his junior year. They put up some ungodly number in a bowl game, and I think it might still be a record. Let me look that up.
Yeah, he was different. I thought even after his rookie year in Washington, I thought he was going to be. He might have been if he didn't get hurt, but yeah, in college he was nice. He was.
I guess I'll go while Trey Googles.
2011 Alamo Bowl. Sorry, I got it. It was 123 points combined. Baylor scored 67.
Who did they play?
I didn't get that far. They beat Washington.
Yeah. Well, I think one of my honorable mentions would be Marcus Mariota. Win the Heisman at Oregon. They played for a national title, lost to Ohio State. Do put up numbers at Oregon. I think Chip Kelly was still the coach. They may have transitioned. I think it was Mark Helfrich. I can't remember when I think Chip Kelly went from Oregon to the Eagles, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Sam Bradford?
Yeah.
Sam Bradford was a good one.
Say that next.
Andrew Luck, too.
Andrew Luck
was good.
Trevor Lawrence.
Matthew Stafford. There's a lot.
I think another wild thing was I think RG3 was like the last quarterback. Because he was on, pardon my take, on a podcast the other day. He was like one of the last quarterbacks to lose like 3 games and still win a Heisman.
What about Lamar?
I don't think he lost 3 games. I think they went like 10-2 that year.
Yeah, I think
because I'm pretty sure they played a New Year's Six Bowl.
I was just reading the list, but I think that one year they were pretty good.
I mean, I guess he probably would have opted out. Was that a thing?
Yeah, he won it. He won it his sophomore year, I think. Right? Or did he win it freshman year? Was Lamar a freshman?
No, it wasn't his freshman year because A&M played him in a bowl his freshman year.
If I would have never had
to play Louisville.
Huh?
When did y'all play Louisville? I can't remember that.
I think it was like the Music City Bowl in like my sophomore year of high school. So like, I don't know. What was that? Like 14? It was the 14, 15. We were playing with like a backup, and I remember nobody knew about Lamar. I think he didn't even start most of the year, and he just came in and just fucking ran everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We're forgetting Dak Prescott.
Yeah. He was pretty good.
I'm scrolling through the list and looking at names. Geno Smith.
Oh, yeah. Geno Smith.
A powerhouse.
That
Geno
West Virginia team with Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey.
Bailey.
Stedman,
that was
yeah.
really nice. They were
Brandon
nice.
Whedon, and he was 30 years old, still in college.
Hey,
Still in
here's a
college. He
throwback.
did. He went to the military. But
Hey,
yeah.
Carson Palmer, Eli Manning.
The list goes on and on.
All right.
I mean,
Marcus Russell.
yeah.
That's
Todd
enough
Reese.
quarterbacks.
Oh,
No.
Joey Harrington. Joey Harrington was a good one.
Yeah.
But there's Denard Robinson. I mean,
Trevor Lawrence.
No, not
Was
Denard.
it-
No, not Denard. No.
What?
Hey.
He was the cover of the NCAA football game.
That's true.
You know he's a good quarterback.
Shoelace.
They don't put bums on him.
Shoelace.
That was
Shador
his
might
name.
be on the
I
cover.
know. I haven't heard that in a while.
That great of a quarterback.
You said what?
Shador may be on the cover of NCAA 24 or 25. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback.
You're smoking.
You've got Dion and Colorado's nuts bouncing off your chin. They are not that good.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not that good, but look how many.
I'm
He was
surprised
throwing for like
you're not
450.
gargling right now.
He was throwing like he was throwing for like 450 a game.
Against who?
And they won 4 of them. So who cares?
Hey, Deion said this is the year this year.
No, it's not. And it won't be. And it won't be until he goes back to Florida State or some big school.
They'll go to a
Yeah,
bowl
it's
game.
that's like DJ Lagway. He's gonna transfer out of there. Gonna leave Florida.
Out of Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
All right.
Cool.
What we got up next?
Y'all want to do
I was
Byers?
having fun just naming random college quarterbacks. You all
Yeah, me
remember
too.
Brady Quinn,
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore, Byron
That was a great one.
Leftwich. Byron Leftwich.
Ellen Moore is the all-time winningest quarterback in NCAA history, I believe.
Hey, the Boise State run that they were on, they were nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he always played my NCAA games in
we're talking
Idaho
about
instead of
covers.
Bluefield.
It's 2008. I think it was the 2008 cover. Yeah.
Speaking of NCAA, do y'all think the 600 for each player in a free game is enough?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or do you think they should do like Caleb Williams or somebody big? Should they get more?
They're going to get
Yeah.
additional stuff. That's just this. That's the base of what every player gets if they want to opt in. You don't have to
Everybody's
opt
equal.
in. Yeah, and so like, I don't know what the numbers are. What there's 132 Division I programs.
Something like that.
So you got 132. How many scholarships are in football? Is it 45 or 80?
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's like 50 or 40 something.
We'll just go 45.
45.
y'all want to take this a step further and do running backs?
That's $3.5 million.
We can. Might as well.
I want to.
Running
Ezekiel
back?
Elliott.
5?
Yeah, we don't. We ain't gotta do 5. Just throw some out there.
We can do 5 real quick.
Top 3.
I don't even know 5 off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
Running backs are so hard to remember.
Let me,
Ezekiel Elliott.
I mean, LT's number 1.
Yeah, Daniel Thomas.
I was gonna say Reggie Bush.
Reggie
Reggie
McNeil.
Bush.
Yeah, Reggie. He needs his
I,
Heisman back.
my number 1 would be Reggie Bush. Number 2,
Adrian
would be
Peterson.
That's a good point. Number 2 would be Adrian Peterson. 3, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
What's that? Mark Ingram.
Or Mark Ingram.
He was
No.
Mark Ingram or Derek.
What's the
They
kid?
both
from
won
Oregon's name that
Heisman.
was
They
like
both
super
won
fast?
LaMichael Thomas. Not right? Wasn't it?
Michael James.
LaMichael James.
Something like
Oh
that.
yeah, he was
Who was
good.
No, there was a Thomas, wasn't there?
D'Anthony Thomas.
DeAnthony Thomas.
Anthony Thomas.
He
Yeah.
wore the rollie on his wrist during the bowl game. I remember that.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon
Yeah.
had quads. That's about it.
Alvin-
Penn State
Alvin-
really
Alvin
didn't do anything.
Cook.
What's the guy that played at Wisconsin?
Monty Ball.
Yeah,
Look at the list, but they're all old.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Basically any Georgia running back from like 2012 to 2016. Any Alabama running back from
Jermichael
2016
Charles.
to 2008.
Jamal
Yeah.
Charles.
Jamal
Charles
Charles.
is
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, did you see that picture before when Alabama they had like Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, T.J. Yeldon, and like Alvin Kamara at practice?
It was
Running
crazy.
back. It was crazy.
Yeah, and Alvin Kamara never ran the ball at Alabama. He went to Tennessee.
Yeah. And he didn't get to run the ball there because they had a nincompoop running that team.
Who?
Was it Jeremy Pruitt?
Yeah.
No, it was what's his name?
It was some fat white guy. Like
Was it Butch
before.
Jones?
Butch Jones.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
That moron.
He went.
What I mean, that is a kudos to, now retired Nick Saban that went from that was the game. They're going to have a game manager at quarterback. They're going to have the best running back on the field, and they're just going to beat you into submission to what that was in 2000, probably 9 when that running back group was together, 2010.
Hey,
Flash forward to
that's a good-
2016. And
That's a great one out.
Yeah, 2016, and you have like one of the best wide receiving groups that have ever been put together with
Those Bama
Devontae.
teams were different.
It's crazy.
Those were different.
Cole, you left Jaworski Lane out.
You didn't give me enough time to think about it.
Yeah.
Who was what was that
Watching
guy's
Kid
name
Hudson play baseball at UTRGV.
that San Diego State? Doesn't he own the all-time rushing record in college?
Oh,
That was a few years ago.
like was it Pumphrey? Pumphrey?
It's something like that.
Like Darnell Pumphrey or something?
Yeah.
What's the Christian McCaffrey?
Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey, yeah.
He should have won a Heisman.
Why didn't he win it?
He had to go to Stanford.
Well, just because they put so much emphasis on quarterback, it's kind of like the MVP award in the NFL now. It just doesn't make sense. It's not the most valuable player. It's just the quarterback on the most winning team. Or
Hey,
the most
Darren
important
McFadden was
quarterback.
pretty damn good too at Arkansas.
Yeah, he was. I forgot about that. God,
Leonard Fournette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
playoff
Darren-
Lenny.
What's the guy's name from Texas that died in a motorcycle wreck?
Cedric Benson.
Yeah,
Cedric
Cedric Benson.
Cedric Benson was a monster. He's the reason, actually, that Adrian
AP.
Peterson didn't come to Texas because Mac Brown said that you're going to sit behind Cedric Benson for a year, and Cedric Benson went number 4 to the Bears.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine Colt McCoy with Adrian Peterson?
Been nice.
Y'all might have beat Bama.
No, he would have been gone before that.
Yeah.
Was it that national championship game? Was 2009?
The 2009 season, the 2010 was when the game was played. I was there at the Rose Bowl with Fred and Will.
Did Peterson come out in 8?
Adrian Peterson came out in like 2007 or 8. I know Matt Stafford was number 1 overall pick in like 09, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
Hey, David, quick question. Texas does not play Oklahoma this season, right?
They play them every year, and they will continue to play them every year.
Who's Texas not playing this year? I mean, who's Texas losing this year? What's the big rivalry game that's going away?
None of them.
None of them.
They're moving to a new conference. They
They
Yeah,
still
I thought
play.
it was-
Isn't
I
it
thought there was a-
Oklahoma and Arkansas? Is that the 2
You
permanent?
play
Yeah.
OU, Arkansas, and A&M. That's
What's the big? There's a big rivalry game going away.
not on.
I think the big rivalry game is coming back, but
Well, I know Texas versus A&M is going to be the big one, but I thought it was a game going away.
Oklahoma
in
State's
the
gone, I think.
SEC.
Yeah, Bethlehem.
yeah,
it's
that
going away.
Bedlam's gone.
Yeah, Bedlam's gone. I know it was a sour taste in OU fans' mouth having lost to Oklahoma State this last year for the foreseeable future. Shout out Corey Ryan, baby! You lost to Oklahoma State.
Uh,
No, Mike Gundy.
So,
Yeah,
you want to
Mr.
go on
Mullet.
the topic?
yeah, let's roll.
Okay, so our next topic is going to be buy or sell. And the 2024 playoff odds have been released per Cole Kubelik. And let me pull these real quick. Forgive me for those of you who are listening. Here are the odds to make the 2024 12-team playoff. And there's too many to say, but I know you got them on your phone. So off the top, the most favorable odds are Ohio State minus 1,000, Georgia minus 900, Oregon minus 500, Texas minus 500, Clemson minus 250, Florida State minus 250, K-State minus 200, Michigan minus 110, and Utah minus 110. Those are the only ones that are favored to be in the playoffs. So, how do you want to do this? You want to go out? You want to pick one of the teams that's not going to make it?
I say we pick one of them and then go around and say buy or sell each.
K-State.
Like
You say
Ohio
K-State?
State.
They're not. K-State's not making the playoffs.
I think K-State has a very good shot at making the playoffs.
I think Ole Miss has a better chance than K-State does.
Well, yeah, they're not in the they're not in the money though. They're the
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so Jalen's got K-State because he just doesn't believe. Trey?
Yeah. Kansas at plus 250 just seems ridiculous. I know the quarterback's good, and the Big 12 will probably be down, but I think it's probably
No, I'm talking about the favorites, like the 8 teams that are less than even odds.
Less than even odds?
Yeah, pick one team that's not going to make.
Yeah, I'd say Florida State too. Florida State and K-State probably 1 and 2.
I gotta say Clemson. Clemson. I don't believe that. I think
I have more faith in
Clemson. Will have to go 10-2, and I just don't think they will. I think they'll go 9-3 or 8-4.
If they don't make it, do you think they fire Dabo?
One at a time. What?
If they don't make it, do you think they fire Dabo?
No. I think
Really?
he has a pretty big buyout, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like the highest paid in college. He's like the highest paid coach right now.
Yeah, it's higher than Jimbo.
I would say
I've got way more faith in him than I do Mike Norvell. And Mike Norvell and them are losing a lot compared to what Clemson is losing.
Yeah,
you think Clemson's more likely to make the playoff than Florida State?
Absolutely.
Why? Because the quarterback experience? I mean, you got DJU. Granted, he didn't play that well at Clemson, and I guess
forgot about that.
He was kind of, he made a resurgence at Oregon State. Now he's going to Florida State.
Does he automatically start as a quarterback battle there?
No, he starts.
Okay.
He's going to start at Florida State.
They've got no one there. They had the
that kid that came in.
Yeah, he's not good. Think about DJ being bad at Clemson, and he was worse than that. So he was real bad. I watched the whole game of it before he got hurt against Florida. But it's just I think Clemson and Dabo just have so much of a better shot. Mike Norvell, that team lost like everything. They've got a top probably 20 draft pick on the edge that's coming out. Can't remember his name. Keon Coleman or whatever his name is, Kevon Coleman, the wide receiver, he's gone. So their number one wide receiver,
who's going to beat the conference?
Do what? Clemson.
Okay, you got Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, it's either one of them is coming out of it, and I have way more faith in Clemson because they've got some returning stuff. Like everything is gone for Florida State. Jordan Travis was in his 5th year or however long. I saw him get demolished for his first 2 years at Florida State. In every game that they played in, he was always on his back, and not in a good way. And it was just bad. And then they turned the corner. He was good, got hurt, sucks for them, but they are losing everything. I mean, everything.
Yeah. So Jalen's selling against K-State. Trey's selling against Clemson or Florida State.
Florida State.
Cole.
So we're picking who we're selling. Just one.
Yeah. Who you're selling that's a favorite?
So I think it's too much of a favorite. I'm going to say Texas. I'm going to sell Texas.
Why?
I think the schedule's a lot harder than last year. And they got Michigan, Georgia, Bama, and some other games that are that could be 2 or 3 losses there.
They beat Bama.
I think minus 500 is a little too much.
They beat Bama.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, we don't play Bama this year, but Cole's point, we do got some tough games. We play at Michigan. I don't think – I mean, they definitely lose a lot of people this year, lose their quarterback, lose a lot of their defensive guys. I think they had 18 players in the combine. Play in Georgia.
They set a record for the most players in the
They
combine.
have 18 players at the combine.
Something
Mhm.
like that. I think it's somewhere up there with like 2019 LSU. It's just ridiculous.
It's more. It set the record.
I
LSU
thought
had like
Michigan. I thought
the
Michigan
next
set
closest
the
is like
record this year.
16. Yeah, they did. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about Texas.
Yeah, but
But yeah, just the bet of them being the fourth most favorite, I would sell. With the
Man.
minus 500.
I mean, fair. I mean, we do have some tough games. Georgia at home definitely favors us. Playing A&M for the first time in 11 years. Who knows what's going to happen?
Do y'all play Ole Miss?
No, we play Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida, Arkansas, OU, Michigan, Georgia, A&M, and like Vandy.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Doesn't sound much harder than a Big 12 schedule, except you throw in A&M and Georgia.
What?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
OU.
They play OU
You
every
said
year.
it doesn't sound much harder than a Big 12 schedule?
Not really.
I don't have a lot of stock in OU this year. They play a pretty hard schedule.
Yeah,
Texas
it's
always
it's
plays
almost
two
as hard
good
as
teams in
Florida's.
the preseason. They always, split or win both games.
OU, we'll see. But all right, well, now we're gonna pick. Go back down to even money and above. So Miami plus 100. So none of us are gonna take that.
No,
Ole Miss plus 175. Arizona
I'll take it.
State and Tennessee at plus 200. Bama, Louisville.
Arizona is it plus 200?
Yeah, I don't get that one.
I mean, they just lost Jetfish and basically everybody that was playing there for them.
And their starting quarterback just opted in the portal.
Can I finish? Damn it!
Sorry.
We're running through them. What do you want us to do?
I'm gonna finish and then we're gonna talk about it.
You don't always get to finish.
I always finish.
Sometimes it's about the other person.
But we got Zona, Penn State, Tennessee plus Bama, Louisville plus 225, Kansas 250, LSU at 250, Notre Dame.
Louisville's got shorter odds than LSU.
A&M plus 500, USC plus 500, Mizzou plus 550, Texas Tech at plus 550, the Iowa Hawkeyes at plus 700.
They got Jalen's Colorado at plus 2,200.
Yeah.
Real quick, this baseball game I'm watching, runner on first and second, pop up to left side of the field. Third baseman comes in, shortstop comes in, left field comes in.
Who?
And the third baseman just completely drops the ball.
Who is it?
Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Cares.
Oh, wow.
University of Grand Valley.
Yeah. So who you guys buying stock in out of these teams with pretty good odds?
Florida plus 2,000, definitely. No, there's not a snowball's chance in hell.
I think Notre Dame at plus 250 is pretty solid.
Kedron Young for Heisman.
No, I don't think he gets your start this year.
I think Notre Dame, they play like Boston College, Duke, Army, Navy. They play USC.
Who's going to be the quarterback next year?
They do play A&M.
Somebody transferred there.
It's definitely a coin flip about beating A&M.
Yeah, Duke's quarterback transferred there.
Don't cut David off.
That's right. Even if they go 10-2, I still think Notre Dame makes the playoff. At plus 250, that's –
yeah.
I mean, I feel like my take on Kalen DeBoer not making the playoff is better at Alabama being at plus 250, but
yeah, that's
225. Sorry, but I'll let a sleeping dog rest. But A&M at plus 500. I mean, that seems wild with NC State. It just I don't know. It seems like a crapshoot out of the top. It's kind of the same thing. College football playoff. You knew the four best teams in the country. One of those four teams are going to win, and it's just such a big drop off past maybe six. And so it's like, who is going to compete? That's what is going to make it a lot of fun to watch. But because in football, you've got one game. It's just one game. Basketball, baseball. It's a little bit different in college. Obviously, in the professional ranks, basketball. You get 5 to 7 games. Baseball, 3 to 7, depending on whatever format you're playing in, other than wild card. And so it's nice.
Do you think the playoffs could ever move into like a double elimination? Is that too much football?
It's too much football. I think it's too much football.
Well, here's another one I forgot to mention. Ole Miss at plus 175. I think that's easy money, man.
That's who Jalen took. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, they have the best transfer portal class in the country, on top of a bunch of returning production. Like they're gonna. I don't like tooting Lane Kiffin's horn because I think he toots it just enough for himself with his 22-year-old wife and
I bet you Lane Kiffin's
everything
fun to
else.
party with.
Yeah,
but
shout out Josh Gillespie, hottie toddy baby.
Yeah,
what do they do?
From people that I've met that go to Ole Miss say that he is fun to party with. So
I bet he's a lot of fun to party with. Do you think you'll see more kids not sitting out and wanting to play now?
Yeah, there'll be less opt out in the playoffs for sure.
I mean, no one ever opted out of the playoffs. That's
I know, but do you think you'll see less kids opting out of bowl games now?
For the bowl games that don't really, weren't a part of it, there's gonna be, I guess, the New Year's Six, those are all gonna be part of the playoff games. So there's not gonna be as many people that are opting out. So you're going to have less opt-outs in some of the minor bowl games. Well, no. What's the first four games? The first 8 teams that play because the top 4 get buys. Those are all home games for the lower ranked teams. So there's no really bowl games that's going to stop the opting out. So I don't know. I don't.
There'll be more meaningful games after the regular season, but
yes, there will.
But
yeah. Like the 13th game, you're not going to have your, pretty good defensive end opting out because he's going to get drafted in the 3rd round, and the next game doesn't matter next to, the goodie bag that he gets from playing in the Sony Bowl for a new PlayStation or whatever it was they were giving away. So,
do you agree with the dropping out?
The Sun Bowl.
The Sun Bowl. What'd you get? A bag of Sun Chips? What is it?
You get a box of
Sunny D.
Who's the cereal guy? They're great. Me the Tiger,
Frosted Flakes, yeah.
Frosted Flakes. Don't you talk shit about Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Yeah, the number 1 cereal ever.
I also wanted to point this out. This list that we have doesn't have any of the group of 5 teams on it, and there's 5 conference champions that are making the playoff. So you got the big 4.
It's probably just because odds-wise, it's hard to put anybody at not a super long shot to win, because you're gonna have to have an borderline undefeated team to come out of the group of 5 to make the playoff. That's gonna be that top-ranked team.
So, what about those smaller schools we always see, that are undefeated, that are getting in these, semi-decent bowl games?
I want to clarify what Trey said. I don't think they have to be undefeated or win. I think they just have to win the conference.
No, it's the highest ranked of the Power 5.
It's the highest ranked.
I thought it was like the 4 power, the Power 4. Now that the Pac-12's gone, then you had the next highest conference champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that could be Conference USA, the AAC, the Sun Belt.
But you got to look at the history. The history, like we talked about Kellen Moore earlier. It's Boise State went undefeated or lost 1 game for fucking 6 years in a row. The last few years, it's been Tulane that's lost 1 or 2 games. You had Cincinnati lose none or 1, and so it's going to be one of those guys. It's not. It's going to be highly unlikely you get a Conference USA team that's lost 4 games that's going to make the playoff.
Yeah,
I mean, but what if you get a 9-3 Appalachian State in the Sun Belt? Who wins the Sun Belt? No shade to you, Cole. I'm just saying.
We're past that era.
If it's the top 4 of the Power 4, and then you got the highest ranked,
it's gonna have to be somebody, right? I mean, somebody that has a damn good record. I mean,
Appalachian State could make it. I mean, Boise State could make it. I think they're in the Mountain West.
I mean, so
what if the MAC makes the playoff?
At the end of the rankings last year, Liberty was
playoff.
That would be good.
That'd be good for college football.
Toledo.
The last rankings of last year was Liberty was 13-1. That's who would have been in. They were ranked number 25. They would have gotten the bid.
They would have gotten crushed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but see, what was the team that put the national the UCF that they didn't make it, but they went undefeated and they put national champions?
Yeah, they went undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got beat. They got beat, didn't they?
No, they
In
went
their bowl
undefeated
game?
the whole year, right?
They
Didn't they beat Joe
slaughtered.
Burrow?
No, they slaughtered and just decimated Georgia team that had everybody and their
Opt out.
dog opt out.
No.
Yeah.
What was it, Georgia?
UCF did not beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Let me
Look it up.
try Google.
Everybody was gone.
UCF did not beat Georgia. I
But
think
But
it
we
was.
won't have that
Auburn.
problem anymore with this.
Nah.
They'll get in.
Was
they'll
it
get
Georgia
their
or
ass
Auburn?
whooped.
I think it was
Yeah.
LSU.
No, it was actually Auburn. I take that back. It was
I
Auburn.
think it was
They
Auburn.
beat
Let
Auburn.
me see.
They beat Auburn. But hey,
Didn't
no,
UCF beat LSU in the Fiesta Bowl one year.
they might
No,
have.
they
but
beat
not the
they beat
national
Auburn in the
championship year.
Peach Bowl 34-27.
Yeah,
Yep.
because the
Yeah,
one-handed
yeah.
guy got a sack and whatever. It was
Went
good.
13-0. Head coach was Scott Frost, and then he went to Nebraska and fell off.
Had,
Yeah.
laid an egg.
He has a name.
It's something Griffith. I don't.
Shaquille
There's
or
there's a brother. They're brothers. One
Oh,
plays
yeah.
for the Seahawks. The
Yeah.
other one has one hand.
It was like Shaquille Griffin or something like that.
Kill Griffin.
Yeah, that's
He
yeah.
was on the Texans this year, and I think he got cut. But
Yeah, he had like
Not
he was born without a
one-hand guy.
hand, but was a baller.
But
Like,
what
like
back
all
to the
Griffin are.
back to the group of five. Like if you go back the last few years, like 22, you had Tulane. They finished number 9 in the rankings. You had Cincinnati was number 4, which is wild. And then year before that was COVID. Cincinnati was still the highest ranked. But let's just go back 2010. Like the highest group of 5 was Nevada. And that's when they had Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
13-1. So it's like you're gonna have a team that rises above the rest in something like that. And so it's not gonna be, your Joe Schmo like 9-4 team. Like Western Kentucky back in 2015. Was
The
that Bailey Zappi?
era.
With Bailey Zappi area, and they finished at 12-2. So I mean, they're gonna be salty. They're not gonna be great, but they're gonna give some team all they want probably in the playoff.
and they'll be ranked like 5, right? No matter what, like they'll be top 5.
Yeah, they'll be ranked number 5 no matter
I
what.
understand it.
Because that's what we touched on this on the last podcast. Notre Dame has
Yeah.
completely just been over and themselves because they don't have a conference. They have no possible way of being anything higher than a number 6 seed, which means they have to play an extra game, and there's nothing they can do about it until they join probably the ACC.
I bet that makes them do it pretty soon.
I think it does. It'll put some pressure on them because if they have a really good team, like they have the possibility of doing next year, and say they win, 11 games or go undefeated, even 10 games, and they're sitting there and it's Houston is ranked above them or something, and they're like, well, no, I can't. Never mind. Houston's not in a group of 5 anymore. I forgot they're in the Big 12.
Yep.
But like say for Marshall gets up there, and it's like, okay, an 11-1 Marshall team is going to be ranked higher than us. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to play an extra game. They have the possibility of losing even earlier than what they would. So,
I'm gonna say it.
what?
I'm gonna say it.
So,
I think we need to start educating people about UTSA and making the playoff. I mean, Jeff Traylor's a good coach. They won Conference USA last year, I believe, or not the year before. I'm pretty sure they won Conference USA.
They did.
And they've been up there, maybe 15 or so.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a possibility. I don't know if they have that like 7th-year quarterback back, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it'd be a cool story. Like
I think it would be.
with some small schools sneaking in there like that.
Yeah.
So y'all want to move on to the next topic?
What we got next?
But if we want to talk about Auburn people getting in fights, Cam Newton whipped like 7 dudes' asses while they tried to whip his.
Yeah, they were kids.
All at the same time.
No, that was man.
No, they were grown
Right.
adults.
Excellent.
they were?
They were
Yeah,
just
they were
wearing
coaches.
backpacks.
They were coaches.
yeah, they're
they
for
were
the other
punching.
like 7-on-7 team or whatever they're playing.
Yeah.
Cam Newton's a big man.
I wouldn't.
I don't know what he has in that hat, but that hat stayed put.
It
It didn't
didn't
move
move
at all.
It didn't move.
It's like
He
Trey's
had-
cowboy.
He
hat.
had
Oh, passed
one
out.
dude in a headlock, one with the same hand he had some dude with a headlock in, and then like tossed another guy with the other arm. Like people forget. Like I don't know how big Cam Newton's listed at, but he's probably got to be like 6'6".
He's like
And
at
he-
least 6'4",
like
6'5".
playing days, he was walking around at probably 250. Like the dude was a linebacker.
Dude could
He's
run
a
like
big
a
man.
deer, and he's got that hat on that's just like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But
I saw a tweet, like the strength and conditioning coach for Auburn while I was there took a picture next to him. He's like, I had my wife take a picture of us because he just wanted to put it in perspective for his friends. The strength coach is like 6'2", 225, big old yoked, 40-year-old that's probably taking some needles up the butt. But like he's sitting there, he's a large human being. And then you got Cam Newton, makes him look like a small child.
Yeah, he's
And-
almost 6'6" and like 250. That
Yeah,
was his
yeah.
NFL measurement.
He's
Yeah,
built
and-
like he's built
He's
like
probably
me.
even heavier now. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm losing muscle, but he's a big
Still,
dude.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, we got a lot in common.
yeah, he's a large human being. You don't want to take that on.
No.
yeah,
No.
he's like a hybrid of Cole's height and Jalen's weight.
He's like a Derek with a lot more muscle.
He can't move. He can't move like me though, Pods.
He's not near as funny as either of you, though. So
I don't know. Cam Newton's pretty funny.
he's kind of got that like Whoopi Goldberg look to him. But
Oh, God.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
maybe
Let's talk
you
about it. Let's
maybe
talk
you
about Anthony Kim.
maybe he should be on The View.
Hey, Cole,
Yeah.
it's probably a good idea that y'all didn't hire Mark Stoops because I saw that two kids got in a fight in the locker room
Yeah,
there.
speaking of fights, shout out that
That
culture,
that
man.
was a heck of a fight.
That was a
David
heck of
wanted-
a fight.
David wanted that culture at A&M. That's why he was advocating for Mark Stoops.
Yeah.
What's
Former-
going on? Like, it's a teammate. You're videoing it. It's in the locker room.
It's
Why
like,
are you videoing it and not trying to
Oh,
break it
yeah.
up?
Like,
if
it
you got
happens,
if you got in a
happens.
fight in the locker room, I'm recording you fighting.
And how does that
I
even
don't know.
get out?
I'd probably have to help you.
How does that even get out? And like, yeah, why are you videotaping? And no one
There are
was.
a bunch of kids that make. I'm sorry. There are a bunch of kids that have too much time and money on their hands, and they don't care what they don't care.
I mean,
what they do.
yeah,
They're
that shit like that happens, but it's just
I've
like
heard the
on
same
the
thing said
internet.
about you, but you're not getting in a fight in the locker room.
No, I just get socially harassed and terrorized.
Yeah, singing songs and cooking chili. So
Yeah, the one that should
But-
kick off tomorrow.
Yeah, that was a wild video.
I do want to touch on before we get to the golf, and it's probably just me talking because no one else really cares about Anthony Kim. Did y'all see the guy at like the women's lacrosse game for Pitt that it wasn't a guy, it was a lady ref.
Oh,
and she
the
pooped herself.
referee.
She pooped herself.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that.
Did you see the tweet that went out afterwards?
Yeah,
So
that was
Pitt-
crazy.
Yeah.
So Pitt scores in the lacrosse game. Pitt lacrosse, the women's lacrosse team, tweets this. What's that smell? With the nose emoji. It's Jill Finnick. I don't know how you say her name. It's a Jill Finnick stanky leg after her first goal of the season.
Hey,
Pitt 16, Detroit Mercy 3. And the next picture you go down and it's someone tweeting this, referee pooped herself and there's poop rolling down her leg.
Wait,
So
did
it was,
she kept reffing?
yeah, she kept reffing. Yeah.
was that? Did she
No-
really shit on
nothing's-
herself?
Nothing's going to
did.
take her off the field.
She
Here's-
really shit. She really shit on herself.
Look, there's a few things that could be a brown substance that's running from the bottom of your shorts down your leg. So I'm assuming what we all assume it is. And it's
She probably had like a Snickers in her waistband and it melted.
That's tough.
hey,
bitch.
Podge, that's a big old Snickers. I don't know if you've
Hey, what about the video we saw, Trey? The guy from Oakland, the guy that threw up in the outfield.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 'cause,
Hey, we
the
got-
pitcher's fair ball was so ugly.
Yeah, we got way off topic.
Who's we?
That's good. That's good.
David, we're
people
not
wanna hear.
interrupted you, so you sit over there and be quiet.
Oh, really? Well, how about I just cut you off and give a shout out to our sponsor, Zilker Belts. Code 936 to get a discount code to get a discount on some
936.
premium Argentinian-made fiber belts. Whether you're big, tall, small, or large, a Zilker belt will look good on you. That's promo code 936. Use it.
It's Pines 936.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jalen. Pines 936. You get 25% off on your next Zilker belt purchase.
Yep.
Yeah,
Appreciate the support.
Yes, sir.
We do. My favorite's the Cowboy. Won the club championship in it. So if you wear it, you might be better at golf.
I like the ACL.
Yeah. But yeah, Anthony Kim, he's back.
What he
He's
did? He
back.
took 12 years off.
He is taking a dozen years off. His last event was in 2012, and it's still, it's going to be very interesting. It makes sense. So the backstory, I don't really know it very well, but what happened was there was it a car accident, David? Do you remember? Was it
Yeah,
some kind of accident, right?
I can't
Ligament.
remember, honestly. I remember when he won the Shell Open in like 08 or 09.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, one of those guys you would bet on in the majors to win the Masters. For sure. He was the next big thing. I want to say he was a top 10 player in the world at one time.
I don't know what his highest ranking was, but it was, he was running with, and at the time, probably for good reason, because you're a young kid making a lot of money with Tiger Woods back in, the early to mid 2000s. This was before his wife beat his car with a 7-iron. So it's allegedly. But they, he's a young kid. Was the next thing up. Brian Harmon last year won the Open Championship. Said he's the most talented guy he's ever seen. They played on 2 Walker Cups together. If you don't know what Walker Cup is, basically the Ryder Cup for collegiate and amateur players. And so he's got the game. It's just a matter of, so I'm getting sidetracked, and this is my ADD. He hasn't played in the last 12 years because he had an insurance policy against himself. This was the story. He had an insurance policy against himself worth, was rumored like, at one time I heard like $30 million. And whatever, something happened. He said he couldn't play golf anymore. And so that's the whole story. And he's going to live because they have an endless amount of money. Whatever the rumored amount is, $800 billion, whatever it is, 700. They can do whatever they want. They just had a 5-year agreement with the ATP, which is the, pro tennis tour that's across the world. So they basically said, how much is it going to take for you to come back? We need the buzz. And he signed something. He doesn't know what it is. He says he's just focused on golf right now because the story of all of this and what actually happened is going to come out eventually. It's probably going to be before their Miami event when they come back to the States in the next 2 months, because this event this weekend is it's like Jeddah. I don't even know where they are. I've never even heard of it. It's not even going to be live on TV. It's the live, so they're kind of working through kinks because they kind of suck. But even though they're good players there, but some fun facts. So Vegas has his odds at 201 to win, which he's probably not going to win. He hasn't played a competitive golf tournament in 12 years. His finish, so live, because they don't get official world golf rankings with a full field and a cut. They're only playing with 54 people. His over-under on place is 48.5. So he's got to beat 6 people to win, according to Vegas. And his first round odds, Vegas says he's going to shoot around 74, 75 in his first round.
So you're saying it's a pretty good bet to take for him to make that?
I say.
Go ahead.
I say he finishes higher than 48. I've seen the scores. He's got to beat, Caleb Surratt and Richard Bland. So it's not really going to matter. And then the first round under 74, he's been a guy that's been clutch. I mean, I read an article today about him back in, I don't know if it was the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup, just saying, hey, give me Sergio. I want to play Sergio, which, I mean, David, the early 2000s, Sergio was kind of the dude. And he went out, waltzed him. And so he lives for the moment. It's just going to be, is it the same, 12 years ago? He was,
how old is he now?
27 years old. He had, a diamond.
AK's got to be 35, 36.
Yeah, he's pushing 40. So he was, 25 years old, diamond encrusted belt buckle, like wanting all the smoke and wanting all the pressure and living up to it. And so it's just going to be, 12 years off is a long time. It's a long time.
Two things. He's not playing against like John Rahm, Brooks Koepka. He is.
Yeah, he's playing all those guys.
There's no, so the big thing with live golf, and what's been going on with what's called the OWGR, which stands for the official World Golf Rankings, but it doesn't really stand for that, but it is. They're the governing body of like the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, all the international tours that rank these professionals. So the way Scotty Scheffler's number 1 in the world, he plays on the PGA Tour, which has you play 72 holes. There's a 36-hole cut. You have a full man field, which is over 70 people or whatever it is. And LIV doesn't do that. So they don't have official World Golf Rankings. But he is playing in a full field LIV event, which is 54 people, John Rahm included, Cam Smith, Joaquin Neiman, John Rahm, all those guys. Bryson DeChambeau.
Bryson DeChambeau. My second was his over-under 74.
74.5 first round.
Yeah.
I'll take over on that.
Really? I don't know what the course is. It's some weird thing. I think with a name like Jeddah, I assume it's probably somewhere in the Middle East. And I don't know what course it is. I've never heard of the course before. And it can't be that hard. I saw the setup in Las Vegas the other day. Like, they just had a collegiate event at the same place, and a guy won it with like 12 under in college.
Did you say it's Vegas or the Middle East?
The last event they had, as far as course setups, like if AK has been playing, which he's going to be playing in money games wherever he's at, probably at his home course and wherever he was living. He's played golf. He's going under. He's going under.
So I had a question. How do they – I'm not real knowledgeable on this, but, like, how do they – I know if they won a tournament or Masters or placed high, they can go back. Is there a way for, like, LIV players that haven't won a Masters to qualify for a Masters in the PGA, or is it just not?
So
or major – qualify for a major.
That's the whole argument. So John Rahm was the biggest piece that's moved from the PGA Tour to LIV Golf. He won the Masters last year. So what comes with winning a major is you get 5 years. So you get your next 20 majors, you're in for a year. And so you're in. You get an exemption to all 4 for the next 5 years, no matter what.
And the players.
And the players. But I don't know if it's the players still with the whole LIV, and I don't know if he gets to show up to the players. Because Cam Smith won the Open and won the Players in the same year and didn't get to play the Players last year.
I think they changed it last year.
So that's what made the John Rahm decision so big, because he's going to get to play in the Masters, the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, PGA, no matter what.
But
he's going to get those. If they haven't won it, there's ways they can qualify for it, because that's what makes golf pretty special. Is me, you, and Jalen. Even David, we can go out tomorrow and sign up for a U.S. Open qualifier, and if we play well enough in 3 events, we can play in the U.S. Open. It's open to everybody. That's the whole goal of it. Same with the Open Championship in Britain. Yeah, you can go, you can qualify for it. But these guys, because they were, at one point top 50 players in the world, at some point, like Joaquin Neiman and, Taylor Gooch was up there, who's making big headlines saying there's going to be an asterisk if Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, which is just wild because Taylor Gooch isn't playing in it. But even though he's not that good and never really competed in a major. But I'm getting sidetracked on it. There's ways they can qualify for it, but because the OWGR, the official World Golf Rankings, doesn't recognize LIV Golf as one of the tours that should get OWGR points, meaning they can't qualify for it. So, like, if you're top 50 in the world right now, you get invited to Masters second week of April. We'll see you in Augusta, Georgia. And then there's some special invites that go out, like the U.S. AM champ, the Latin American AM champ, the Asian Pacific AM. Like, those guys get invited, and there's some other invites they hold out to do, plus past champions. You get to play whenever you want. And so, like, one of the guys on the LIV Tour, Joaquin Neiman, got the invite. We touched on that last week. It went out. But he also, I don't know if it was the African Open or something. He went somewhere, he played well, finished second, and then won a tournament outside of LIV Golf, because you can still go as a pro and play, other tours if you want to. And so he went out and did that to kind of give him a chance to get there. And then some of the guys just don't care. They don't do it and then complain about it, kind of like Taylor Gooch is doing. He didn't go out play any other tournaments. He's just sitting there cashing money from LIV, because he won like 3 times last year on LIV, and each purse every time he wins like $4.5 million. So if you're going to sit there and win 3 times a year, 4 times a year, cash 15 mil, there ain't nothing to worry about. But just sit back and complain and be like, yeah, I belong there because I won 3 times here. But if you don't do anything about it, sit down and shut up.
Who's Hideki hasn't gone live, right? I would think Hideki may to go live.
He's rumored to go, and especially right
think-
after he won the Genesis, it was real high because he kind of at Postmasters when he won is when everybody in the live talk kind of went off, and he got supposedly approached with a deal kind of like John Rahm, like here's $600 million because he's from Japan. The Japan golf market is huge. There's obviously a crap ton of people there. It's a foot in the door for them there because he is the Japanese golfer
Japan.
after winning the Master.
Japan.
Yeah,
He is what like Ryo Ishikawa wanted to be. I mean, 13 years ago, Ryo Ishikawa was the next coming in Japan, and
yeah,
and also I think international players are much more likely to go live than United States-born players, just because of their domestic loyalty to the PGA Tour. So it makes more sense for a guy like Hideki or the European players or the South African players. Who stays in?
Louis there.
Louis over there.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying. So a bunch of those old European guys, those are the initial guys that made the switch. Sorry, pause. I gotta pee.
David, if you're playing on the PGA Tour and they come up with $10 million to come to the live, would you leave?
In a heartbeat.
If they're paying me $200-300 million, yeah, I'd probably leave. It's life-changing money.
Yeah, but you wouldn't show loyalty to the PGA.
How well have I done on the PGA Tour? Have I won a major? Have I won a tournament? Have I even won a tournament? Am I scraping by? What am I doing?
No, you're having a great career.
No, 10 million isn't worth it.
10 million.
That's like
worth it.
That's like Tiger. How much money they offer Tiger to come to live?
Like
it was rumored around $1 billion.
900.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what's his name, Harold Varner. I saw whenever he did it, he was like, "I love the PGA, but this is like family changing money that I
makes
cannot."
sense.
That's
sense for tier 3, tier 4, and the lower scale of tier 2 to go to the live. When you're getting paid $200-300 million, I think what was it? Zalatoris got offered like
it was like 150, 120.
That's
I'd
crazy.
take that.
Yeah, that's what. Like,
it's a lot of money.
That's where like the disconnect. Like they were trying to drum it up as we're gonna grow the game. We're playing less and get to hang out with our families more. Well, when you broke it down, it didn't really matter. You're still gonna play enough. Plus the majors, the schedule doesn't really change a whole lot. Like you might play instead of 25 events, you're playing 23. So that doesn't matter. Just say you want to take the money. And that's what Harold Varner did. That's why he made the news. He's like, look, they're like, here's $60 million.
I respect that. I'm saying that.
He's like, I have a duty for my family and for my kids' kids to set them up for the rest of their life. Here's $60 million. Go do that. He's like, because he won a few times. I think he won once or twice on the PGA Tour. I know he won once on the DP World Tour. And so it's like, why not take that money, play a little bit less, and then set up your family for the future? The same thing. John Rahm hinted at it, but he was in a unique situation. He's a top 2-3 player in the world at the moment right now. And here's $600 million. It's $600 million. No one in their right mind is going to turn that down. Heck,
Tiger turned down $1 billion almost.
Well, he's already worth $1 billion.
He's made almost that.
If Tiger would have taken that deal, it would have ruined his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It would have torn him down. Everything he's accomplished, 15 majors, winning the Masters in 2019 after a 11-year hiatus, for him to do all that and what he's done for the tour, for him to sell out.
Yeah, I agree.
Tore down his legacy and would have been like, it would have really hurt his argument for. He's still the greatest golfer of all time, but it really would have. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like people
It would have jeopardized his argument at it because he
people
doesn't
would-
have the
would-
majors. He
people
has
would
the win.
revere Jack Nicklaus in higher regard than Tiger, I think.
Yes. Yeah. 1,000%. And that's the other big argument. Like Wyndham Clark came out the other day and he was like, yeah, I did have talks with Liv, but I'm kind of hitting my stride on the PGA Tour. I just won a US Open. Like, yeah, $40-50 million is awesome, but in a few years I might still be able to go get it, and I have a chance to really build, quote unquote, my legacy on the PGA Tour. And so that's
clearly winning a major really changes your decisions.
Yeah.
Spoon, you taking 10,000 to leave the club to go to Piney Woods?
No.
So I was gonna say you better not
sell out.
No.
You sell out Crown Colony for
He's the club. Yeah, you can't leave your club champion.
But
I recently found out that they are renamed Lumberjack National.
Lumberjack National. Yep.
Yeah.
If anybody should be a national, it's Crown Colony. Crown National.
Crown National. That's hard.
That would go a little bit to our heads.
That's a Buick. I think the Crown National is a Buick.
Oh,
it came out in the 80s.
He's driving a Buick. I got auto insurance with the General.
What about Jack Knapp?
Who?
Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp.
I mean Jake. I don't know why I said Jack. Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp. Yep, former bouncer.
It was a bouncer 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Made $1.4 billion. Made $1.4 million last week.
Didn't really know who he was when I was, David, following your brother on the Canadian tour, and Sam. There was a name that kept popping up, and along with like Jared Dutois. I think he finished like top 5 in the Canadian rankings, but he, was a former bouncer. Well, not former bouncer. He was playing the Canadian and Latin American tours, which are like for if you're not a golf knower and you're a ball knower like David, you've got like baseball terms, pretty much like single, double A. That's kind of where they were. Triple A is the Korn Ferry Tour now, was the web.com, and the PGA Tour is, the majors. And so hopping around on those tours, made it to what was the Korn Ferry Tour, I think in like 19 or 20, and didn't really have a great season, kind of ran out of money towards the end and was forced to become a bouncer, and then got back on the Korn Ferry Tour, had a good year, is a rookie this year on the PGA Tour, and, has the smoothest swing since Freddie Couples, along with ball speeds that are, higher than Jalen's weight, and just is absolutely crushing it.
What's up with the fat jokes? Like, you're fat too. Like, you're not little. Shot. This guy's been working out for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and you can swear he's like the most in shape athletic guy now. Like, that's 2 fat jokes tonight. You're still fat. Do not forget that.
Hey,
what'd y'all say earlier? Cam Newton.
You're out.
I compared you to Cam Newton.
Yeah. You said Cole's height, Jalen's weight.
You kind of deserve that after your top 5 quarterback comments. I mean,
for Reggie McNeil.
Yeah, I'm putting Colt McCoy in there. I mean, goddamn.
Give me a couple more. Give me a couple more months, and we'll look real glunky.
Yeah, you're gonna look like BJ Singh in his prime.
Shit.
But yeah, no, shout out Jake Knapp. $1.5 million from
1.4. I saw a story. His girlfriend was like in Canada, and they called and they were like, "Hey, you get on a plane right now. Like, this could end good." And I guess she boarded a plane and went to go see her man.
Good move.
That's a great move. One more thing. What do you think about Charlie Woods playing that shooting 86, playing in that amateur tournament?
I think we touched on it last time, but he shot it well. It's just a good experience for him.
That was expected. Yeah. He was never
nothing burger.
Yeah, he had nothing, absolutely no chance. But I mean, only other thing that's kind of going on is what, college basketball. Has anybody been watching college basketball?
I have. I think
A&M's playing right now, but they've been fucking dropping the ball lately. So I'm not really.
Florida just beat Mizzou. I got that notification.
Shout out to the Horns beating Texas Tech by 13 last night. We're up 30. But, we're going to be a bubble team. It's going to come down to whether we beat Oklahoma State and whether we can pull off another 2 wins. So we'll see. But playing in the Big 12, I think we definitely have the resume that can being playing in the toughest conference in the country to get us over the top. But what you want to hit on that next week? I mean, I've been watching some basketball.
We'll come back get a March Madness episode.
Hey,
I just read something. I don't know how true this is. It says 6 Live golf stars told they are only players who would be welcome back to the PGA Tour. Phil Mickelson,
John Rahm, Justin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Bryson, and I don't know who else. Probably them. I haven't
Cam
read
Smith.
That, but yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Those are the 6 best golfers they've got. There's a
lot.
I
understand it. There's some guys and there's some guys playing the Live that could go play on the go win on the PGA Tour right now. Minus those 6 guys.
Yeah, those are the guys with the biggest guaranteed contracts that the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund gave them. And so I wouldn't violate those contracts yet because they're also telling, what was it? The advisors that they have that went to the congressional hearing for them, that if they talk, they could be thrown in prison in Saudi Arabia. So
yeah,
you don't want to do that shit.
Not at all. Yeah.
Talk what? Like contract? Talk like
just if they talk.
Talking contract details or what?
No, if they talked to the U.S. government.
About what?
They would be thrown in jail. Just about Live.
Damn.
So, yeah, I wouldn't.
The motherfucker's crazy over there.
Yeah. I mean, they assassinate journalists, but there's one more thing I do want to touch on before we.
Can you stop cutting David off?
College baseball. Hagen Smith. Did anybody see that on Saturday last week? Hagen Smith plays for Arkansas. He's from Central Heights, a little bit north of us, and he went 6 innings and had 17 Ks.
Really?
Dang.
6 innings, 17 Ks. He was 5 innings in, had 15 strikeouts. He just kind of let it hang on. I'm pretty sure it was Oklahoma State, and they ended up winning the game. But he's
hope they won the game.
It was actually a close game. They yanked him afterwards, and I think they won 4-3, something like that.
Did you see the kid from Georgia Tech? 4 bats, 4 home runs. Yeah, that's nuts. He's leading the country at 8 home runs.
9.
Is it 9?
9 home runs. He had 4 in the game yesterday. It's like Jake Burgess or something like that.
I thought it was Brian. I don't know.
But if you're a fan of college baseball, this weekend is gonna be fun. Texas plays LSU in Houston.
It's a lot of good baseball this weekend.
There's a lot of good baseball.
We play LSU, Texas State, and Vandy. Then we play Texas A&M on Tuesday.
I was about to say A&M and Texas play next week.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole, personal wager on the game?
Oh yeah, I'm down.
What do you want to do?
Like V-Bucks or something. You can't do money. It's illegal.
Push-ups on the podcast.
We can do I don't know, 40, 50?
Push-ups on the podcast.
Push-ups on the pod.
I like that.
We'll do that.
I like that.
We can do 50 handshakes, or I don't know.
Loser buys 2 rounds of drinks next time we see each other.
Okay.
All right.
You ordering a scotch, David?
We can talk about other wages off the camera,
but if you're a fan of college baseball this weekend, there's a bunch. So
is that the the Houston Classic that they do?
Yeah,
the Houston Classic. I misspoke. It's on. That's Friday night. So Friday night's game is Texas LSU, but also Friday night Clemson plays South Carolina. The states, the state of Carolina or the Carolinas. I looked at the rankings. There's 9 teams in the top 25 from the Carolinas.
Oh,
North Carolina's up there. Clemson's up there. South Carolina.
ECU.
Carolina's ECU. It's
Coastal Carolina probably.
Coastal's up there.
Carolina, yeah.
A&M's
having a pretty good baseball season.
Is Campbell in Carolina?
Nope.
One of the Carolinas?
Yes.
I think A&M's at 7 right now. That
A&M's up there. A&M's got some
Brandon
dudes.
Montgomery had like 2 hits and he came in and pitched.
It's in North Carolina.
Montgomery's almost
killing
hitting
it.
400 on the year. I mean, granted, we're 7 games into the year. 8 games into the year.
He's like leading the nation in home runs right now.
He was until the freshman at Georgia Tech hit
Georgia Tech.
4 yesterday.
Yeah.
In one game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. The guy Campbell, speaking of them, they've got a guy who's a catcher. He the first game of the season comes out, catches 8 innings, hits a sac fly that scores 1, hits a 3-run bomb, comes in the bottom of the 9th, sits mid-90s after catching 8 innings and gets the save. It's there's some freaks out playing college baseball right now. Jack Caglione,
why those kids are so good?
Because they had to play against their older brothers like us.
No, because John Cobb coached those kids.
Yeah, that's definitely it. But like, there's a kid
Against their
from
older brothers
at Georgia right now. I can't remember his name. It's like Cardone or something like that. But we're 7 games into the year, and he's batting .694. I think is what the number I saw today.
The kid leading the nation in batting averages from Jackson State. He's hitting like .699.
He leads the country in hits, but not in average.
I thought it was batting average.
No, he's also second. There's another guy in front of him. I saw that today.
How about that, Buds?
Go look at it. College Baseball Hub. They post it once a week.
Well, y'all
just saw it.
Gonna call it a night.
Yep. Good episode.
All right, this is live from the Pines, and I just want to say one more shout out to Zilker Belts. Use discount code PINES936 for a 25% discount on premium Argentina made leather belts from Argentina.